in this tutorial I'm continuing the series that I was following from the previous lecture, as I was solving the exercise, creating a logging simple application, providing a demonstration of how to create a simple logging application with a very simple logging form with username and password, and a click listener with the login button, and validating the forms and checking if the submitted username and passwords are pretty much correct, and then displaying a welcome message or displaying the error message if it is unsuccessful, right? In the previous lecture I just demonstrated a very simple way of using a single top activity to create the application. The single top activity, it was a minimalistic approach, because I only used a single activity to solve to create this application, having performing everything like creating a welcome message and creating a login form, right? But in the standard approach, actually, usually it takes two activities. So you can see here, in the single like in standard approach, like in the single top approach, I was using only one logging single top activity, right? But whereas in the standard approach, normally we use the two activities. Okay, so if you want to know more about the single top, and if you are new to this lecture, just please go through my previous lecture videos, and just previous lecture videos I have provided a single top solution here. So but we will be using a standard solution here, and just pretty much find out the difference by yourself, which one is better for you. If you want to use a minimalistic approach, the single top is much better, but you need to understand the concept, and you need to understand better where exactly to use it and how exactly to use it. But we are using, in this lecture, we will be using a standard approach. Okay, let's not waste the time, and let's go right to the solution. And like, as you know, the layout is pretty similar. Like we have a title, the username and password, edit text, and then submit button. And also we will have the welcome screen. Welcome screen is pretty much, it will show the success or failure on basis of what you are what you pass in your edit text as username and password. Okay, so okay, so first thing what we have to do is, like, we have to when we submit the button, we get the username and password, and then we hide the button, the keyboard, because because no need of keyword is necessary, because the keyboard is just useful to take the inputs from the user, right? So after we get the necessary values from username and password, then we have to validate the form and proceed. Okay, so we validate the form by using username form is not empty, and similarly password form is not empty. If this is not empty, if it is empty, then obviously we will show the toast message, just like in the previous lecture videos. Toast make text this get string dot string dot logging form entry error. Okay, and then obviously sorry guys. Okay, obviously we will have also toast dot length long. Finally we apply the gravity to center, right? Gravity center, like vertical and horizontal offset to be zeros, and then finally we have to show the toast, right? Okay, so now the most important point is here, because where we launch our activity, right? Our welcome activity, so also we have to pass the data. So first thing is we create the intent, and our intent is like login welcome activity, uh, and then we have to uh, intent, and then we have to pass in the pass the extras. So to pass the extras, we use the welcome entry, put the extras using the username key, and similarly also password key and password from the form, right? And then now we have to reset the edit text field, so that means we have to pretty much clear the username and password text, because now we are navigating to the next activity, right? And then we launch our activity by saying start activity and passing the welcome intent. Okay, so now this part is done. Okay, we pretty much it's pretty simple, right? We navigate from one activity to another, and it is pretty much a standard approach. And also for in the we have to create a standard activity. We have to declare it in the manifest file, obviously exported to true. Then you don't need to declare. If you want to use a single like a standard approach, you don't need to pretty much declare any launch mode. Okay, only in the case if you are using a particular launch mode like single top, you have to declare it precisely. Okay, so this is our precisely our solution. And then okay, we are ready to go, but before we are ready to go, I want to yeah, this is our standard approach, right? So this is our standard approach, and with this standard approach, what we did is like we pretty much used our this what we did is we pretty much implemented this login form, where the user inputs his username and password and submits it, and then we have to navigate to the another activity called logging welcome activity. So we have to implement this activity. Okay, so login welcome activity is the UI, I mean, is pretty much like this. So what it has to do is pretty much it has to access the information from the like it has to get the extras, right, to update the view. So how we can do that? So from the intent we get the extras and update the we get the values first, the username from the form, and it's a login intent. We get the string extra, and the extra is username. Okay, constant username key, and yeah, if in case it is null, we have to provide the empty value. Password form similarly goes intent get string extra app constant password key, and okay, you don't need to actually pass on any also you can pretty much provide a toString. Okay, now what else we have to do is we have to use we have to do the similar process, like we have to check the if the user has entered, check the validity of the user entered. Okay, so we have to check if the login for checking we have to also create another private function which pretty much checks the if the user has entered correct values, right? Check form validity. No, it's check user validity. So username name and the pass string. Then what you have to do is we pretty much check the username validity. So username if contains the same user that we have declared is a correct username value, and pass that you have declared correct password value, right? So we have to pretty much check the user validity in this way. Then finally we have to check the user validity and say if the check user validity username form and the password form, if this is true, then you log into the user, log in the user. Otherwise you have to show the error message or a toast or error message, right? So what is our what we are gonna do here is if the user is not logged in correctly, we pretty much show a back button to finish it, and also show a login error message. Okay, so again error message. Okay, so to show the error message we have a pretty much get string out dot string dot login error, and back button is visible true, and then back button, when it press the back button you finish the activity, right? And then you return to the new activity. It goes back to the previous activity, sorry, not the return, go back to previous activity. First finishes the current activity and go back to the previous activity. So this is the case when the login user the validity is incorrect, right? When the user is incorrectly tries to log in and he is not so successful, this is the unsuccessful like situation when the user is not able to log in. Then we have to handle it in this way. When the user is able to log in, and that means the username and password is correct, then we have to update the view and say obviously we have to say is login is true, and then we have to also declare another method to update view, and with the username. So we update the view passing the username from the form, and when we update the view what we have to do is we pretty much set the username, the logged username to username, and then we have to set the welcome message to get string dot welcome text, then you pass the logged in user, and similarly back button is visible is false, and then you have to set the header text to the welcome message, right? So similarly you update the view in this situation. Now we also have to pretty much handle the situations, like for example if you want to handle the situation if we want to save and restore the instance state, right? Let's also implement that save and restoring instance state. Mm, so we try to implement on save instance state. So let's save the instance state for uh, to say the username is if the user is logged in. Okay, so for that we obviously need values. And logged in username. Okay, so now what we have to do is save the instance state of first is the username. Let's put the is logged in value to false. No, it's not false, is the value of from that we have declared here is logged in. And then similarly we have to also put value, not boolean but it's a put string is logged in username. Logged in username. Okay, this values will be put like like will be saved to your instance. Then we have to on restore instance state. Okay, we have to pretty much say if logged in to get the instance state from the otherwise it's false by default. And then also get in logged in user from the save instance set. In username and default value to be empty string. And if is logged in and logged in user is not empty, then pretty much you set the update the view with the logged in user, right? So yeah, this is how you set the and restore the instance state. So yeah, this is a pretty much a standard approach. It is pretty lengthy. It's pretty much you have to create a lengthy in the sense like we have to create the two activities, right? And yeah, and it is pretty standard approach. But if you go and check back my previous solution, I have used a single top solution where we handled every this all these scenarios in single activity, right? Yeah, so yeah, it's based on what kind of solutions you want to implement, you know. So let's launch our activity and let's enter our username and password is pass word 123 and let's log in. Okay, we are getting this error. We are getting this error because I know why. Obviously we have forgotten our to declare our activity in the manifest. Okay, unable to find explicitly. Okay, this logging welcome activity, you see, when you get this kind of error, this fatal exception is unable to find explicitly find explicitly activity class login welcome activity, is because you fail to like declare your activity in the manifest file. Okay, so we've solved this in this way. And finally, let's relaunch the application, and I think we are good to go. We just write our username and password credentials. Okay, and then yes, we arrive to our logging activity. You're enjoying your app, and in the case like if you mistakenly log in, we see either your username or password is not recognized. Please try again. Back, and you go back to the previous activity, that is your login standard activity, right? Yeah, thank you for the for listening, guys, and if you like my videos, please do subscribe. If you have any questions, just write me a comment, and if you like it, please just press the like button. And also, if you want to get more updates, or just press the bell button if you want to just keep on getting updates from my videos, okay, for my previous for future video releases. And thank you, guys. And in the previous in the upcoming lecture, I will be just going through register for activity result solution. Okay, thank you.